Debt, fear, relationships, the children, your health, work. When you want to give up and you need courage to continue, take heart and stay tuned as RJ Jackson writes her signature message of hope on your heart. You don't have to live where you're dying, and you don't have to die where you're living. Like every show of Conversations on Courage, you'll be informed, inspired, and encouraged to find the courage you need to succeed at home, work, and in your business. Get your pen and paper. You'll want to take notes. And now, your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver.
Hello, beautiful. I'm your friend, RJ Jackson, your master encourager, accountability coach, speaker for your next event, and you're down to earth. I'm listening. Tell it like it is. I love you, girl. Friend. Yep, that's me. Welcome to the conversation. This is a show for women who dare to be bold and courageous, women who live life unapologetically. This is a show where you can find the courage you need in order to succeed. This is episode 1 of Conversations on Courage. It's the one you'll want to listen to over and over again. It's the one you'll share with your friends. Matter of fact, go ahead. Why don't you do that right now? Why don't you show your sister friend that you care about her and you want her to succeed? Go ahead and share the show by hitting the share button right now. After all, sharing is caring. On today's show, we promise to fill your cup with courage one sip at a time. We're going to provide you with success strategies, inspiration, and purposeful conversation. What else are we going to do while we're together? Well, we're going to respond to your questions. You know, the ones you had the courage to ask out loud on our Facebook group. Girl, I'm working on it too. Oh, and by the way, if you're new and you're not a part of our group, we invite you to join us today on Facebook, where you will find a safe place to be you, authentically you, and meaningful relationships with women just like you. We'll also share in your story, and we will provide you with a life-giving experience. And, of course, before we end, we'll talk to our featured guest. This week's special guest is Leisa Reid. Leisa is the founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now. Leisa, welcome to the table, beautiful.
Thank you, beautiful. I'm so excited to be here today.
You are the beautiful one, and it takes one to know one. So while we have two beauties at the table, let's just go right ahead and jump into the conversation. I know people are waiting. They're excited and ready to hear your words of encouragement, inspiration, and empowerment. So, Leisa, the question I ask everyone, what's your story? Like, how did you get to where you are? And actually, where are you? What are you doing these days?
That's a great question. I'm a speaker for a personal development company, and then I also help speakers get speaking gigs. So that's where I am. How did I get there? I think it started when I was in 7th grade giving a speech to the assembly at my junior high school. I always loved speaking, got my degrees in speaking, and always wove training and teaching into anything I did, and then now I also facilitate personal development workshops. So I always had this desire to inspire people to make positive changes in their life, and that's my mission. That is what is my guidepost for anything that I do, whether it's teaching people about speaking or leading a group in some other aspect or helping someone with their personal development. It's like, how can I really help someone, like, have them be inspired to make a positive change for them. That's what guides me. That's my passion, for sure.
So what I hear you saying is your passion is helping people live their best life.
Yes, yes. So that we can start to, like, navigate change. A lot of times people, aren't satisfied with some aspect of their life. And so, but we can get so used to it. I talked to someone the other day who's been miserable in his profession for 10 years. And I said, gosh, that's sad. Like, you've gotten used to being miserable. And so how can we help you shift that? How can we make some changes so that you're living a life that's more fulfilling for you?
You're listening to Conversations on Courage with your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver. Quick, call your friends and invite them to listen in.
Lisa, you mentioned a little bit earlier that it all started for you in 7th grade. There are women, I'm sure, who are listening who are saying, wow, I'm like in my 40s and I still am trying to figure it out. So how did it start for you in 7th grade?
Well, I got asked to be a speaker for the group. I did an assembly talk on seatbelt safety, which was really exciting for adolescents to listen to. But we made it really fun, and I really enjoyed myself. And I guess that must have struck a nerve, because when I was in college, I decided to have my major be in speech, and I really enjoyed the teaching aspect of it. So I would always weave in teaching to whatever I did, but I didn't think about being a speaker professionally, or if I thought about it, I didn't think it was possible, or how I wasn't sure how that would happen. So I will say for sure it's been a journey. It wasn't like that light bulb moment where I knew always what I wanted to do. It was just, as I look back, the breadcrumbs were there. So it wasn't until I was in my 40s that I actually became a professional speaker full time. And I think one of the things that people, when they have a dream, they think they have to give everything else up to go for that dream. And I say, well, maybe sometimes that's true, but maybe sometimes it's not, where if you have a dream, let's say to be a speaker, but you are in a completely different industry or situation, it doesn't mean you have to give up what you're doing now, but maybe you start. Maybe you join a Toastmasters group, which is an international organization, to learn about speaking, or maybe you craft a speech and give it to your family or your friends, or I don't know. There's always different ways to start to think about what would your dream look like.
And to that, I say it's never too late. So for those of you who are listening and you're thinking, oh, it's too late, I'm 40, I'm pushing 50, girl, it's not too late. It's never too late. Just simply go back to the drawing board, write your vision, make it plain, and go for it, girl. You got this. Go for it. It's not too late.
Yes, you still have so much more to go. What are we going to? This is only our life that we get, so might as well make the most of it.
And you might as well start now. Now is the time. So, Lisa, let's talk about lessons you've learned in your journey that's gotten you to where you are today, and what can we learn from what you've learned in your journey? Tell us one lesson you've learned.
One lesson I learned, especially about being a speaker, is that it doesn't have to be perfect to get started. I think a lot of times when we're creating something out of nothing, maybe we're wanting to write a book or start our own business or be a speaker, we spend a lot of time worrying about getting it ready. I need to start working on my book, or I need to start working on my talk, and I'm still perfecting it. Those are things I'll hear. But there's something exciting about just going out there and trying it out, like putting it out there. I have a friend who really inspires me. She has a book that she put out. I mean, she wrote it up. She just decided, I'm going to write a book. She wrote it, and she got it published, and there you have it. And it was a best-selling book. It has mistakes in it, but that's okay because it still has a lot of really helpful information in there. And the bottom line is she went for it. She got it done. And I think that's part of the process. We have this thought that, like, when we get out there, it's got to be completely perfect. But I tell, like, the speakers that I coach, to say, your speech or your book or whatever that is you're creating is a living organism. It's going to evolve and change, and that's only going to come through you putting it out there, getting feedback and adjusting, and you're learning. And that's, to me, really exciting time. It's scary. I get that too. I know it can be scary, but it's exciting.
It is exciting. And as you said, it's about courage. And courage is being afraid, but going anyway. And like you said, Leisa, start now. And not only did you say start now, but you talk about a winning mindset. So let's talk about a winning mindset. What is a winning mindset, and how do we actually integrate a winning mindset into our daily life so that we can have a healthier and more productive path in life?
A winning mindset, similar to what I just said, is an always evolving process because sometimes I'm sure everyone can relate, where we're in our flow and we are just nailing it and things are good and we can feel all that good, juicy, exciting inspiration bubbling up and everything's going great. And sometimes you might think, well, that's a winning mindset. That's definitely something to go for. But then life happens sometimes, and we know there's challenges, and sometimes we don't feel in that flow. We're not, we're dealing with some challenges. So how do we manage that? And I think how one overall creates a winning mindset is really looking internally. What feelings typically come up for you? What thoughts typically come up for you? Specifically, what's less than ideal? And knowing that, learning about that about yourself so that you can be more conscious of it when it happens, when you have that feeling, when you have those thoughts that aren't helping you, then you can start to shift it and turn it around. I think when we deny those thoughts or those feelings or cover them up is when we get a little bit in the danger zone. It's like putting plants in toxic soil. So want to dig it up, see what's going on in the soil so that what I plant in there can really grow.
Well, we reap what we sow. What we plant is what we grow. So what I hear you saying is we have to make sure we're planting positive seeds in order to live a healthy and productive life.
Yes, and that the soil is healthy.
Okay, Leisa, so let's say I am an aspiring speaker. I've been in the business for about 3 or 4 years. I wrote a book. It didn't quite become the bestseller, but I put it out there. I've been doing my best, not speaking as much as I'd like to, and I'm kind of stuck. What steps can I take to make sure that I'm putting my good seeds in the best soil so that I can get speaking gigs now?
That's a really good question. I think it's about getting in touch with what is your message, what is it that you're really trying to do. If you've written a book or you want to be a speaker or maybe you're a coach or you're somehow have a message that's really important, and I would imagine there's a lot of people that can benefit from your message. So getting connected to that message is really important. What is my soul saying? What is, I think of it as like God tapping you on the shoulder or somebody tapping you on the shoulder, whoever that divine energy or being is. What's the message you're supposed to be delivering? And don't give up. Back to the courage. All the steps that you're taking have somehow are going to pay off. You just have to keep stepping to see where they're going to pay off. So it's not about if you weren't the bestseller book, that's fine. I have a book, it's not a bestseller, but it still opened a lot of doors for me. That wasn't my intention to be a best-selling author necessarily. But my intention was to get the message out there. So it's like, what's your intention? Who are you trying to help? And I think if you stay on that path, that the right people will find you and the right opportunities will be there for you. But if you give up, then you're like giving up on your dream. You're giving up on your soul's message, your purpose. Why are you here? And I think, so back to having that courage to keep moving forward and being open to new ways of doing that is my recommendation.
So what I hear you saying is, number one, know your intentions. Number two, know your message. Number three, know your audience. Number four, share your message. Number five, just keep swimming. And number six, never give up. Those are amazing tips, Leisa. I think those are great pointers for any aspiring speaker. And if you are an aspiring speaker and you're feeling stuck, just know this. It's just a temporary position. It's not easy. But whatever you do, keep sharing your message, keep going, and never give up. And as Leisa said, the right people will connect with you. Great pointers, Leisa. Thanks so much for sharing them.
Absolutely.
Words of courage, Leisa. I hear you continue to say, keep going, don't stop, don't quit, have courage. You know, those words, they're easily said. But when life happens, it's hard to put them into action. So what words of courage would you share with our audience today to help them continue to move forward?
That's a really good question. For me, one of the things that when I'm in that place of just feeling lost or stuck or, uncertain, having self-doubt, which I experience all those as well. I mean, if we're going to get the full emotional spectrum, we're going to get them all. And for me, what truth I know is that the universe always provides for me, and I'm open to receive. So I think it's about finding what's that other truth. Like, say if we're in that moment of fear or self-doubt, or at that moment of self-doubt and fear, and at that moment we believe whatever that is about the fear. I'm not going to be able to do this. No one wants my book, my message, my whatever. There is also another truth that is in opposition to that does believe. So it's about understanding inside of me, this individual person, inside of you, what's the other truth? And for me, that's, I know I feel like I just can't do it today, but I also know that the universe always provides for me. So I'm going to be open to receive right now and know that something good's happening. Something will come of this. This will change. This will be temporary. So when you can connect to that other belief that you have that's taking you in the correct direction that you want to go, that's when that can help in those times where we're not feeling that courage at that moment.
God says, I know the plans that I have for you. They are a plan for a future and a hope. So I suggest we go with that plan. And as Leisa said, don't go by what you feel. Feelings change. Go by what you know. So, Leisa, who is your ideal client, and how do you help them get more speaking gigs now?
My ideal clients are seasoned or aspiring speakers, especially love working with aspiring speakers. A lot of times someone will come to me and they have been dreaming or hoping or wishing to become a speaker, but they're just not sure how to get started. And so I help them craft their message, their talk, get them ready with all the tools they need so that they can go out there and do that. Speak to whoever the audience is that they need to speak to. I help them figure that out as well. I've booked and delivered over 400 speaking engagements in the last 5 years. So I bring all of that. I don't hold anything back. Like, I bring in all of that to you to make sure that we get you in front of the right people for the right purpose.
How can we connect with you to be 400 or 501 of the book speakers?
I can be found on Get Speaking Gigs Now, and that's getspeakinggigsnow.com. You can find me there and look at all the different ways we can work together, and I'm happy to connect with anyone who feels that they are in that position, ready to be a speaker.
If you missed that information, you can always find it on our website, conversationsoncourage.com. That's conversationsoncourage.com. Leisa, it's been an absolute joy knowing that we can, as speakers, get speaking gigs now, and that you're a tool and a resource to help us do that. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom, your story, your courage, and being authentic as you share. We certainly have enjoyed having you here at the table today.
Thank you, RJ, for having me. I'm so excited that you and I connected, and it was my honor to be here.
Thank you so much for sitting at the table with us and for being an amazing resource for speakers, especially aspiring speakers who are interested in getting speaking gigs now. It's been an amazing conversation, and thank you for being a valuable part of Conversations on Courage. I am your host, R.J. Jackson, the Courage Giver. Now, today I was not quite feeling at my best, but as always, I am committed to giving you my best. And thinking of best, you, my friend, are the best part of Conversations on Courage. If you're a meeting planner in need of a down-to-earth, authentic speaker who guarantees to provide you and your audience with a life-changing experience filled with success strategies on courage, confidence, and vision, I invite you to contact me today. I will be waiting to chat with you. Thanks for joining us again this week. We certainly hope that you'll join us again next week as we continue to bring to you down-to-earth, authentic conversations on courage that will help you live your best life ever with courage and confidence.
Thank you for joining us for Conversations on Courage. Now that you've been inspired, informed, and encouraged, it's time for you to take action. So head on over to thecouragegiver.com. That's thecouragegiver.com and connect with RJ for a personal conversation on courage. She's waiting to help you take the risk you need to succeed.